Hey everybody, welcome back to Bassett and More Outdoor. This is part 3 of my custom rifle build. In my first video, I showed you the rifle that I had with the Magpul Hunter stock. So you could click down below and see that video with a review of that stock. And then the next video I did was the unboxing of my new MTD ACC chassis, which if you're also interested in that, you can click down below and check that video out. In this video, what we're doing is we're going to swap out our stock Remington trigger that came with this, and it's a good trigger. I am curious as to how heavy it pulls, so we might just check that out and weigh that real quick, see what that is. It would be better to do in the chassis, but I am still curious. And then we're going to install our new 2-stage Timney trigger. So let me grab the scale. I meant to do this before I pulled it out of the old chassis because I was curious, but I think this will still work all right. And we're just going to pull it back until it clicks. And 4.5 pounds, which that's kind of what I thought. So that came direct from the manufacturer, Remington themselves. This is the tactical model. It's got the 5R rifling with the 1 in 10 twist. Really great barrel, amazing barrel. Shoots super accurate, very nice. But that trigger, I was not happy with it. As you saw, 4.5 pounds. And what I found myself doing is when I'm out there at the range and I'm ready to take that shot, is I just felt like I just kept pulling and pulling and pulling, and nothing was happening. And it felt like I was putting a lot into it before it finally broke. So I think a lot of the times is by the time it broke, I was pulling my shot. And I don't like that. So I've got this custom set I built, ordered this from Timney themselves, and they say, I'll have to read the paperwork as I pull it out, but it's set up as 8 ounces on the first stage and 2 pounds on the second stage. So we'll check that out once we get this swapped out. Swap out on this is pretty simple. There's just 2 pins. We're going to try not to knock all the way out. There's one in the back right here, and there's one in the front here. Now this one is going to come out this way, and that one's going to go out that way. But what we don't want is we don't want the pin to come so far out that we lose the spring in this. We just want it to come out far enough to replace this trigger. So we're going to tap this very slow. We're going to take our time, and we're going to get this thing out. I do have a bunch of taps right here. Now I'm not, a professional at this or anything like that, so I just have some cloths to set it down to avoid damaging the gun. In fact, I'm going to take the bolt all the way out. So with the bolt out, this thing will lie pretty flat, and then like I said, I'm just going to slowly tap this out until it comes just past the trigger. I don't want to get it too far out that we end up losing all the device for the bolt release. So just like that. And I actually hit it all the way out, so we're just going to put it back in just a little bit. And I don't think this side matters. I did this side first, which you can see there's nothing really there to really worry about. But on this other side, you have your hardware here for your action release that we don't want to knock out because of the spring and everything else. I mean, not a big deal if we do, but it's just easier if we don't. That way, we don't have to worry about putting all that back together. So now we're going to do that side. Oh, and I guess we got to take it off safety. There you go. And we're just going to take this slow, as that's already almost all the way out. And like I said, we don't want that. We just want it enough to where our trigger will pop out. So just a couple more small taps. And voila. There we go. So our old trigger's out. So not bad, and we did not knock the spring out on that, which I'm happy we did not. So yep, so there's our new trigger. And I decided to go with the, what color do you call this? Nickel. With the nickel plated on the safety and the trigger, because the whole gun's going to be completely blacked out, and I thought that would be a nice little standout to have those a different color. So anyways, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the new one in here, and it just slides right in how the old one came out. It's just slightly thicker than the old one, so it's just a little more finesse to get it in. But once you've got the holes lined up from there, you should be able to just start tapping that pin back in. And what I'm going to do is when I tap these back in, is I'm going to use the other end here, and I'm going to tap it just slightly until it's flush. This way it's flush on both sides, and that's perfect right there. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure that these holes are lined up here, and we're going to just slightly tap that in. And it doesn't seem to be lined up yet. Due to the fact that this one is not a flat surface like the other side was, we're going to have to use the tap a little bit to get it to go back through. And we're just going to slowly check each side. And what we want is same thing. We want it to be flush with both sides. So essentially just want it to kind of look like it did before it came out. And it looks like we're there. So yeah, so once you get that front pin in, you really don't want to push it too far because that is part of your action or your bolt release. So, you know, if you do push it too far, just check it, see if it bolt release moves freely or not. If it doesn't, that pin's too far, so you want to push that front pin back out just a little bit. So from here, we're just going to check it. We're going to cycle our bolt and make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to work. So there's your safety, there's your fire. Bolt goes forward, trigger, boom, and pulls open. And one of the biggest things you want to make sure is to make sure you didn't mess up that spring. Is just go ahead and do your bolt release, which I'm going to put it upside down so you can see it. As I push that, it pushes the bar, bolt release comes out. So as you can see, everything is now working. Of course, I'm trying to do this upside down. Everything is now working the way it's supposed to work. It goes in, bolt does not come out, bolt releases. As you put your bolt in, slide it forward, it fires. Bam. There we go. We got our new two-stage Timney trigger. So let's go ahead. Let's cycle this bolt again, and we will do this again once we actually have it in the gun. But you can see we start pulling. Actually, let's reset that. Make sure we're on our trigger. There we go. We start pulling that, and there we go. We hit it. That's at 1.5 pounds right now. And I didn't feel the brake. Of course, that could be me just being new on this. There's the brake right there. So let's see if we could pull that back and see where we're at. Yep, brake is right there. And that's set at 1. No, you know, I didn't reset the scale. Hold on. So there's our brake. Our brake is at 8 ounces. Once we hit our brake and we pull it, boom, trigger brakes, 1.5 pounds. So that's actually slightly lighter than I wanted, but it feels really good. I'll have to see it once the range. But that actually feels great to me. I'm actually kind of like that. 1.5 pounds might be a little light, but I like it. So far, loving this Timney trigger. Already feels so much smoother. You can feel that brake. So as I know I'm going to go ahead and pull, I hit that brake and I know a little bit more and boom, there's my shot. So no surprise on it. Everything else, I love it. So yeah, so that's how you install the Timney trigger. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's probably a little hard to see back there from some of those angles, and I hope I was able to get the best I can for you. If you do accidentally pop your pin too far out and your spring comes out, it's really not that hard to fix. All you got to do is put that bar back in. Your spring has a little beveled edge of 90 degree that comes out. That is actually going to sit in the actual action itself right there. So you can see how the spring sits. So if you do happen to knock it out, don't worry. It's not a huge deal. It happens. And it's not hard to fix. So there you go. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel down below. And look forward to my next video. Look forward for my next video where I actually install the barrel into my new action. And that's the most exciting part, the part I've been waiting for. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.